Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the JRS Cars YouTube channel. The vehicle we have today is one that promises the ultimate driving pleasure. That, my friends, is this 2009 BMW 320d Highline. Starting with styling, this 320d is styled like a proper BMW should be. We have the typical trademark kidney grille, and luckily the kidney grille is the correct size unlike these modern BMWs. Talking about the headlights, we have corona rings over here, and this was way before the pandemic struck. This was also a trademark of older BMWs. We get fog lights down below, and moving to the wheels, this vehicle is running on 16-inch run flat tires. Yes, a vehicle which once costed over 40 lakh rupees is running on 16-inch wheels, and well, 12 years ago, I think that was kind of okay. Talking about the side profile, this vehicle has a typical BMW side profile with a long bonnet and a short stubby boot. We have a chrome line running across the window area for the premium feel. Moving to the rear, we have the typical BMW shark fin antenna. And the boot of the vehicle, as mentioned, is quite stubby, and it's like the entire vehicle converges to this particular point. We have the BMW logo, 320d badging and LED tail lights on both sides. With that, let's check out the boot space of the vehicle. Talking about boot space, now opening the boot can be done in two ways, either using the key or the electromechanical release. And once the boot is open, you are greeted by 460 liters of space. Yes, the loading lip is a bit high and the width of the boot is not too much. Under the boot floor, we have additional space, but as you guys can see, we do not have any spare tire, courtesy the run flat tires of BMW. You do get insulation on top, and the boot gets two hydraulic struts, unlike other cars with no hydraulic struts. With that, let's move inside. Taking a look at the back seat, you guys can clearly see that space at the back is not the strong point of the 3 Series. With that being said, this car with a black exterior and a black leather interior does look super sporty in this spec. We get leather trimmed door pads and a wooden finish on the door cards as well. This being the Highline version, you get window blinds not only for the main glass but also a small blind for the quarter glass as well to ensure that you're completely sealed from all possible sunlight. With that, let's now check out the back seat space. Alright guys, so getting inside the back seat of the 3 Series. Alright guys, so sitting at the back over here, well, the front seat has been pushed all the way in the front, and then you can see we have enough legroom. Now the front seat, driver's seat, has been set to my driving position, and that's all the amount of legroom you get at the back. Back here is actually quite nice. I mean, like I mentioned, you have sunshades over here. Headroom too is just about adequate, I would say, for a person of my height. I am 6 foot tall. We have storage over here, a small net as well. We have some reading lights over here. We have your rear AC vents as well. You have an armrest, and you have 3 headrests for all passengers at the back. So for a car costing 40 lakhs, yes, back seat space is compromised. However, thanks to depreciation, this back seat is definitely a nice place. The front end, the business end of the BMW 3 Series, being a proper driver's car, this is the place you should be seated at. Talking about the door pads, I mean, well, you have the same black leather and the wooden finish. Door pockets are quite small and cannot hold any water bottles. We have all your window controls and a speaker as well. Talking about the seat, now this being the Highline version, you do get electric seats for both the driver and the passenger, and you do get memory settings as well. Alright guys, sitting in the driver's seat of the BMW 3 Series, the steering wheel feels really nice and chunky to hold. We have buttons on both sides and the horn in the center. The horn sounds like this. Taking a look at the gauges, we have your proper old school analog tachometer and speedometer. We have your fuel gauge down below, as well as your average fuel consumption. We also have another digital screen which gives your odometer reading, your gear selector, as well as your telltale lights and warning lights. Moving to the center of the dashboard, we have your proper old school iDrive screen, and this gives you access to your multimedia settings as well as the vehicle information settings. The iDrive is controlled by this iDrive controller just below the gear lever. We have your auto dimming rear mirror, we have your control for the sunroof, and yes, this car, even though it's old and from 2009, we do have a sunroof as well. That's a nice feature. These are of course the controls for the sunroof and lights as well. You have a small reading light over there. We have your climate controlled AC system over here with dual zones, a CD player, and a button for, well, raising and lowering the rear shade. Wow, I did not know this car had this feature. That's quite cool. Continuing down, you have your gear lever over here, we have the iDrive control over here, and well, you have the storage space over here as well. That's quite cool. We have a proper mechanical handbrake, we have the driver's cup holder over here, and the passenger's cup holder over there. So that's quite a cool feature of the E90 generation. And finally, the glove box. Well, you have a soft touch glove box with illumination, so that's quite cool. Alright guys, so driving the BMW 3 Series. This generation of 3 Series, the E90, was given the tag of one of the best handling BMWs of all time. Let's see just how well this car handles 12 years later. Straight away, let's start with the steering. Now the steering on this car feels like you're piloting a truck. Yes, I remember I drove a Mahindra van a few months ago, and that vehicle did not have any power steering, and this steering feels almost no different. Jokes aside, this steering is really very heavy, and this is one of the old school hydraulic power steering units, and this steering requires a lot of effort to turn, especially at slow speeds and parking speeds. The flip side is, you have a direct connection to the front wheels. Through the steering wheel, you know exactly what the front wheels are doing, and this does give you a tremendous amount of confidence, especially in the corners. Yes, every time you drive the car, you're going to feel like you're going to have a nice workout for your biceps, but in those days, you don't have any variable ratio steerings or buttons to adjust the comfort mode and all those stuff. Everything was just plain, simple and basic, and this steering is what you got with the E90. Talking about the engine and gearbox combination, now this pre-facelift E90 comes with a 2-liter diesel engine with a single turbo, producing approximately 160 bhp and 350 Nm of peak torque. Power is set to the rear wheels via 6-speed ZF gearbox, and this powertrain combination does justice to this car very well. Yes, you do have a bit of turbo lag, but the gearbox responds well, especially in sports mode, and if you put your foot down, the gearbox responds without hesitation and propels you into the distance. This engine and gearbox is really very good and well suited to the character of this car. Talking about visibility, yes, visibility is good all round. You have a good view of what's in front of you. The long bonnet does take some getting used to, but once you have the dimensions in your head, driving this car around town is a charm. Talking about the ride and handling balance, this was the Achilles heel of the E90. Yes, the car was an excellent handler and handled corners really very well. High speed stability was awesome and amazing, and this car was really a driver focused car. And that's the problem of the E90 Generation 3 series, and this is also why the C-Class and the A4 of this time sold in better numbers than the E90. Those cars had a much better ride quality thanks to normal tires and a softer suspension setup, whereas this car with a stiff suspension and run flat tires meant that it crashed through almost all potholes and never had a very settled ride, which was uncomfortable for passengers in the back seat. Let's now do a quick acceleration test from 0 to 100 to see if this car still has what it is to be called the ultimate driving machine. This car does 0 to 100 in approximately 8.1, 8.2 seconds. And yes, it may not feel very quick by modern day standards, but back in the day, this was one of the quickest cars you could buy. Talking about buying, should you buy a pre-owned E90 3 Series? The E90 generation was replaced by the F30 somewhere in late 2012, and the F30 is a much more rounded and complete car, whereas the E90 was considered to be the holy grail of drivers' cars for this generation. Brand new, this car costed approximately between 30 to 40 lakhs depending on the variant, and in the used car market, these cars are available anywhere between 6.5 to 10 lakhs depending on year, model, condition, etc. So, should you buy a used E90 3 Series? These cars are quite reliable, so if you do plan to buy one, don't worry, these are reliable cars, provided they be maintained properly. If you want a car that's really driver focused, that gives you the real feel of driving, especially the old school charm, yes, there is no other car like the E90 Generation 3 Series at this price point. However, if you're looking for a luxurious, comfortable car to be chauffeur driven, please stay away from the E90 as this is definitely not the car for you. The E90 is purely made for enthusiasts who enjoy driving and want the experience of sheer driving pleasure, and that's what this car stands for. The E90 Generation 3 series is a relatively easy car to maintain as spare parts are available plentiful and you will not have problems in sourcing spare parts for this car. Overall, if you are looking for a premium used luxury car under 10 lakhs, I would definitely recommend you check out the E90, but do be warned of the stiff ride quality and the backseat space, which is not that great, especially when you compare it to the competitors. And so guys, that's my review of the E90 Generation 3 series. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give the video a thumbs up, that's the like button, and take a second to subscribe also. A massive thank you to Mr. Fahad Fazil of FF Cars Tamil Nadu for giving me this particular E90 for review. With that done, I'll see you in the next video really soon. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye. Drive safe.